Yo, what's up guys? My name is JT and this is a model that's somewhat of a unicorn, at least for me it is. So let's check it out right here on Model Railroading Southwest. So like I said earlier in the video, this model is somewhat of a unicorn, and the reason I say that is because this thing has been eluding me for about a year. This thing was released about a year ago and I have not been able to find this anywhere. Not on stores, not on eBay. It's ridiculous, but this model is none other than the Athearn Genesis HO scale SD70M number 4015. So let's go ahead and open this up and check it out. So when you pick up the lid, you'll find the typical literature that you'd find in Athearn Genesis models. There is the manual and instructions and a bunch of other stuff like warranty stuff. Let's go ahead and put that to the side, and let's take this off here, and there it is. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous model, so let's go ahead and open it up and check it out. So up in this little pocket right here, you'll find a little package or a little Ziploc, and here you'll think, whoa, what's this for? There's nothing in it. Well, if you look in here, there's small little lift rings. Don't know what they're for. Maybe if you lose one or something, but there it is. So the way you open this up is a typical Athearn packaging. You just slide this out right here, and you pop this open, and there it is. Let's go ahead and remove this. There we go. Here it is. This thing is so gorgeous. Let's take a closer look. So like I said earlier in the video, this model was released about a year ago, and I decided to do a review on it just because I think it's such a cool looking model, and it's actually really important to me because it's a big part of my Union Pacific Excursion, heritage train. This is going to complete it just because I just had 4014 delivered about a week ago. You guys saw that video. I said in that video I wanted to get 4015. Well, it just so happened about 2 days later, after I made the video for 4014, I found this online. I got this at Yankee Dabbler and I was completely in shock that I was able to find this online. I couldn't find it on eBay. I looked everywhere, and there was a couple of shady sites that just seemed like too good to be true, and the same thing happened with Yankee Dabbler. I'm not saying that it was a scam or anything, but it just kind of concerned me that there was a possibility that this was still on the site when it was in fact out of stock. So I went ahead and bought it, and I'm really glad I did because here it is, and I'm really excited that I have it. So a little bit of history behind this engine. So this engine was used in the 2023 run with 4014 last year, and this was used as the helper diesel in that train. And the reason I didn't get it last year is I figured I'd wait about a week until I was able to afford it, and it just so happened that it was completely sold out. I had no idea that this was even available for pre-order. I just didn't even know that it was going to be a thing, and it just got delivered, and I was in shock that it came through. And then, like I said, I didn't get it, and I was devastated because I waited about a year. I even put like some saved tabs on eBay, and I looked almost every week looking to see if this thing would pop up, and I found nothing. So one day, like I said, I just decided to try to Google it again, and I found it, and here it is, and I'm really excited that it came. So let's take a closer look. So let's go ahead and take a look at the front of the model. First, I like to point out is the PTC antenna array. It's up here. It looks pretty good. Down here are some number boards. Unfortunately, those are not lit. It's not a big deal, but whatever. The headlight is LED, so are the ditch lights. All the lights on this model are LED, which is pretty nice. The inside of the cab is nicely done. There's some good detail in there. I'll try to get a closer look a little bit later. So there is some characteristics that set this apart from all the other SD70Ms in this particular road number, and that is the front here is painted green and the trucks are silver, which is pretty nice. That's what I really like about this model. I think it's just a real good eye catcher. Over here are some intricately done details in the front here, along with the door separately applied. There are separately applied handrails and grab irons. Down in the bottom, you'll notice that there are some nice MU cables and some brake lines. There is a nice looking snowplow and a plastic coupler. Down over here, you'll find that there's a small decal over here by the steps. You can read that under magnification. Looks pretty good. Another thing I like to point out is the windshield wipers are separately applied. They look pretty good. I think they're made out of metal. They look like metal. Let's take a look at the side of the model. So upon closer inspection of the side of the model, you'll notice that the sunshades are nicely done. They're separately applied, along with the mirrors. The 4015 road number is nicely done as well. It's very crisp. You can see that there's a small decal underneath the 4 that says under warranty. Down there are some compartments and there's some vents that look pretty good. Back here is a nicely done grill. You can actually look through it. It's pretty nice. Down below you can see that the trucks are nicely done. Those are painted silver like I said earlier. There's some nice brake cylinder detail and some shock detail and a bunch of other stuff. You can see that there's the bell over here, and over here is the fuel filler along with a sight gauge. It's all looking pretty good. Another thing I like to point out is over here there is the yellow sill. It's nicely done as well. Looks color appropriate. Looking at the rear of the model, you notice that there are some other grills right here. Those are actually molded into the model, but they look pretty good. They have some good depth to them. There is a small grill down here that is actually molded in as well, but it's nicely weathered. It gives it the, it looks like it has some depth to it as well. You notice that there are some decals over here on every other door and compartment. Those are not exactly legible under magnification, but there's some good detail to them. They look pretty good. Over here you'll see that there is some separately applied grab irons along with a grab iron up here. There are a bunch of lift rings all along the top of the model right here that you can see there. Down here are some other decals that those are legible as well. Down here are some extra coupler brackets to hold couplers. And there's some MU hoses and the brake hoses as well. There's another plastic coupler on the rear there. Most likely I'm going to change those over to KD because I've been having some trouble with these plastic knuckle couplers from Athearn. That rear headlight is LED. It looks pretty good when lit. They're not dim whatsoever. They're actually pretty bright. All of the handrails on this model are very nicely done. There are no waves in the handrails. They're all perfectly straight and there was no issues with them whatsoever. Looking at the rear of the engineer's side, you can see that there's a very nicely done brake wheel there. Just under that there's a small decal, a little sign there. You can not exactly read it, but you can tell that there's words there and it looks pretty good, not too bad. Looks good to the naked eye. Underneath that you'll find another decal there. You can read that under magnification as well. You can see that the trucks are nicely done as well. I'd like to point out, I forgot to mention, on the other side of the model there's a little bit of too much glue on the brake cylinders. It's not horrible, you can't really see it unless you're looking at it. I take a look at models very closely and I find every little problem with them, and I just like to point that out. It's not a big deal. It's just, it's just really not aesthetically pleasing when you really look at them. But other than that, it's all looking pretty good. Like I said, the handrails are pretty straight. There's not a problem. These ones are pretty good on this side as well. I like to point out the rear of the cab. I really like the way they do doors and they do steps. They look very nicely done. There is a separately applied wiper that looks pretty good and a small handle for the door to open up and separately applied etched metal steps there for the door to come down onto the rest of the walkway. If we take a look at the engineer side on the front of the model, you'll notice that there is a small patch right here that is a different color. That is prototypical. It is on the prototype. So it's pretty cool that Athearn did add that to this model. Here are some more grills here. Like I said, those ones are see-through. These ones are not. Those ones are molded into the model. It's not a real big deal. Looks pretty good. Not too bad. Down here you'll notice that there's another fuel filler gauge and there's a bunch of little piping and a bunch of other stuff down there. You can see the sanding lines and all that as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at the roof. So let's go ahead and take a look at the roof. I wanted to point out all the little lift rings. They look pretty good. There's a bunch of them all on the top here. You can see that in each of these fan grills, you can see the fan inside that looks pretty good. That horn looks pretty nice as well. You can see down into the trumpet. Like I always say in every video, if a horn doesn't look good, it throws off the entire model and it looks like a toy. Over here is the exhaust. You can see down into that exhaust and it looks pretty nice as well. This one is actually molded in. You can't really see anything into there, but it looks pretty decent. Looks good. The PTC antenna looks great as well. Like I said, there's some conduit in between the both pieces. It looks pretty nice as well. So let's go ahead and take this over to the layout and see how it sounds. Alrighty guys, so that's pretty much it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really had a great time recording this video. This model is very well done. The paint is flawless. The details are very well done. There was nothing broken, which is always nice. The sound sounds impeccable, and it tracks really well going down the track. The only thing I had to nitpick was the excessive glue on the trucks. You know, that kind of bothers me. It's not a real big deal. I don't see it going down the track, so it's really not gonna, you know, make or break this engine. Plus, I'm probably never gonna find one of these ever again. So if you guys enjoy the Union Pacific Heritage, you know, Excursion content, be prepared. There is a lot of stuff that I got to record. I have a lot of stuff that came in over the past few months. I just haven't had time to record it. I have passenger cars and I have some engines that I need to show you guys. So I had to get this one in just because I just recorded 4014 and I got this one right after. So that's pretty much it for the video. If you guys have any questions or comments, put it down below or send me an email. I'm always happy to read those. So like I said, that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later. Take care and keep it between the rails.